This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Monday, March 18th, and as always, everything that I'm going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. So this morning, so far, we have a pretty decent list going on there and going on out there, and a pretty decent shares. So first thing looking at is this WP. I know Donna had put out there that it is a buyout, but it's a cash deal. So typically, what we're going to end up seeing is this thing move a pretty significant amount, and one of the best show of hands that we have out there by far. So we can see right here, pretty much 112, 112.50, and 113 is all buying from what we've seen so far. We have a print line at 111.31. Going to be expecting a pretty significant pullback just based off the range that we're seeing already. We went from 105.50 all the way up to our highs of right underneath 114. So we already know that it's going to have a huge range, and we have just, pretty much all the bigger shares out there this morning have been buying. So overall, going to need to see this thing pull back below 112.50. A pretty substantial amount before we would end up seeing this thing be able to push back up above. So we have some pretty good setup coming into here because we have 110 that's sitting right underneath it, which would be, a very logical spot for this thing to be able to pull back to. And then from that point, we're going to be looking for, based off the buying that we have going on here, at least 115. So overall, I mean, just, pretty much a perfect spot for this thing to be in based off the psychological levels of 110 and 115. So looking for that pullback and then a trigger back up for us to be able to, like I said, get to that price target of 115. CPTX is the next one on our list. LPTX. Handwriting is disgusting. All right, so LPTX, we made a nice move coming into the morning. The one thing that I'm not really that happy about is the amount of volume that we saw as this thing was pushing back up. Now, keep in mind it was at 7 a.m., so the orders out there were going to be extremely, extremely thin for the move that it was able to make. But if we come over here, we can look at that 3 level. We definitely can see that buying that came back in. For us to push underneath. So really what I'm going to be looking for right now is we have this double bottom right here. We need to pull underneath based off those ask prints that we had. So about 275 level before we'd be able to get a trigger coming back up and push towards that double top up here. Don't get me wrong, we have some decent buying that was sitting up there at 350, but just not as much as I would like to see. I don't know if it's going to let me go back. All right. And also, if we look over here, you can see at 8 o'clock, and we've been seeing this a lot lately, but we have those above the ask prints and below the bid prints that came in. So we certainly know that 350 is a very important level. It's just going to be a matter of the direction. But based off that buying that we have at that 3 level, it shows us that it certainly has the ability to get back up towards that double top. And not even that double top, but be able to continue to push. Obviously, we're going to need to see more at 350, something a little bit more definitive. But overall, certainly has the possibilities there. Next thing looking at is FIS. So FIS is following pretty much WP. They both look extremely similar. Coming over here, we don't have as much buying as we did in that WP, but you can see 112.50 where we're pulling back from there. We didn't really get too much coming up towards that 115 level. So this is good, a little bit more towards the bottom of my list. On average, it trades $1.86. And about 2.1 million shares, already 1.2. So certainly something that we're going to be looking for. This is essentially, it's exactly the same as what we talk about with these stocks that have really, really thin orders, but big ranges. Is we're going to need to see something exactly like this. You can see right after 9, 112.50. That shows a whole lot for what our expectations are going to be. Pull back to at least this support level sitting here right at about 111. But overall, another one that has the ability for us to be able to get that trigger back up after pushes from the pullback and really get an extensive move coming in. All right. Number 4 on our list is DERM. So DERM, huge move coming into this morning, but one of my biggest problems here is that once again, the volume just was not there. Now it was very, very early. We're talking about 7 o'clock move again, but we're pushing up towards that 13 level. We had buying coming in before. Right around that 13, nothing too substantial. I definitely, with such a cheap stock, want to see a little bit more. I really like this burst of buying that we did see here at 12.15. Obviously, we're a little bit further past that. But showing that buying above that 1250 as well shows us that we certainly have the ability for us to get back up here. You're able to short it, so we're able to go both ways. It's certainly going to have a bigger range than usual. On average, trades 966,000 shares. We have almost 2.1 million coming into it already. So certainly has the ability to not only get back to this 15 level, but be able to break it. Now, we do want to see a little bit more buying coming in at the controlling levels, but at the end of the day, we certainly have what we need to get back up to that double top. And then DAKE, and I know I wrote that wrong, DARE, DARE. All right, so DARE coming in, same type of deal. We pretty much pulled back because we pushed up towards that 250 level and we were not able to hit it. But overall, if we look above this too, we certainly have the buying that we need in here. There's no question about that whatsoever. We had a few ask prints that came in at that 2 level down there, and then over 215, 220, and then at the minor itself, certainly giving us everything that we need to see. So we're coming up to this double top right here. A push up 250 should show us a lot more. They're really, at this point, it's a little bit too high up for us to be able to do anything until we get to 250 and show us exactly what the controlling prints are going to be there. But it has all the buying in the world that it needs, and it's pretty much already making its move before the open even comes in. So 250 will tell us the rest if we're going to be able to trade it, or if we're pretty much just going to see a sell-off coming in. But based off the volume that we have pushing towards that 250 level and the buying that we have underneath and around that minor at 225, we should have no problems whatsoever being able to get there. So a lot of good stuff out there this morning. Let's take a look at our scanners. Let's see if we have anything else that popped up as we were talking about. So DARE, we already know about. DERM, we already know about. LPTX, we already know about. AMID, buyout, absolutely nothing going on there. HJLI, absolutely nothing. Nice bullish consolidation, but there's just not enough volume for us to even pay attention to it. AZRX, absolutely nothing. ATOS, as we just said, nothing going on there. Caesars, nah, nothing at all. And then DB and QD really don't make such great trades. So absolutely nothing over there towards the bottom of our gainers list. Moving over to the loser side of things, we have ARPO, 456,000 shares, but cheap stock. You're probably not going to be able to get shares for it. It's just not doing anything after taking a pretty substantial hit. NIHD, absolutely nothing. SLNO, beautiful move on Friday, but just not enough going on there for us to pay attention to. LL, nice trend, but another one where it's just, I don't really see enough there. The only thing that it has going for it is the fact that we did get prints on those controlling prints with a beautiful trend at 9 on the bid side. So I'm going to put it on our side list, but I do not like the way that it's trading, unfortunately, based off of what we're seeing going on during the pre-market. I just don't have a lot of confidence for this thing to really be able to get that volume to really move. But we are going to keep an eye on it just because of those bid prints at 9. And then once again, that trend is absolutely beautiful. BIOS, 625,000 shares, but nothing. And then BIOC, same type of deal. Typically doesn't really move too much, 25-cent average, but nothing really going on there at all. So surprisingly, for a Monday morning, especially after, St. Patty's Day is a holiday, sort of, but at the same time, it's, I would have expected it to be a little bit slower than what we're seeing going on out there. But we have some really good show of hands. So certainly looking forward to the open. Now, anything else out there that I missed? Anything else going on out there? I keep seeing Riot pop up. Let's take a look. Not enough. Got them all. All right, beautiful. So remember, Traders Exchange tomorrow, 12:30. Let's make sure we start thinking about what we're going to be talking about, our questions and topics, and classes will begin tomorrow at 10 a.m. All right, guys, I will talk to everyone in the chat, and happy trading.